Welcome to the CodPast podcast, where your fishy past hooks your brilliant future. With Dr. Deborah, Laura, and Dr. Trish. Welcome to the CodPast podcast.
Okay, today we should have Dr. Deborah Schlosser popping in here. We're minus our third leg of the CodPast, and we have an incredible guest today, Greta Trefalt. Is that right? Okay, and she's coming in from Albania today with a really cool headboard in a really beautiful suite somewhere overlooking the Mediterranean. And Greta is a ballerina, but she's a whole bunch of stuff, and we're about to see her in a couple of weeks. We're excited about that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Greta, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. The most beautiful world. Yes.
So you may have to get a little bit closer to the sound because it's really hard to hear you.
Okay. So is it better?
Oh, it's so much better. Yeah, so much better. And so you're calling in today from Albania. There is Dr. Deborah.
Today we are in Saranda, and Saranda is in the south of Albania. And I'm literally from my veranda overlooking Corfu Island. This is where Prince Philip was born. Elizabeth. Yep. So that's Corfu.
Wow.
So
it is part of the Grecian islands.
Yes, Corfu. It's a part of the island. I'm not in that island. I'm just looking at that island. And
right.
It's a sea.
Wow.
It's maybe half an hour ferry ride from here to there. I've been to nearly every country in Europe, and Albania was the only one that I haven't been. It was high on my list, but it was so much prejudice around and kind of health, safety, all that kind of things. And I have to say that when I arrived here, I didn't feel comfortable. Tirana was like very, very scary place for me. It was not easy, and I was literally thinking to maybe after 3 days to just buy a ticket and go back, and it's like, and a last second something did have changed, and somebody asked me like, oh, would you like to go to another island? And I did accept that, and I'm not regretting even for 1 second. Now I feel very, very comfortable, and I would like to introduce this place to the world, definitely.
So we're going to do a retreat there, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Is there a place there that we can get enough people in?
Yes.
Well, get all that together, because that's what we're putting those plans in place.
Of course, 2023. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're starting to do those plans now into next year. So, Dr. Deborah, do you want to play the intro?
Yeah, so sorry that I was late. Anyways, it's okay. I'm here now. It was, I would love to. Hi, Greta.
Hello.
Oh, you're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to see you, Greta. I'm really.
Your fishy past.
Hold on. It always happens, doesn't it? When I do it.
Fishy past.
Okay, we're going to start over.
Welcome to the CodPast podcast, where your fishy past hooks your brilliant future. With Dr. Deborah, Laura, and Dr. Trish.
Yay.
Yay!
Now it's official. Deborah's a super organized one. Yay, Deborah.
Oh my gosh. My Gmail disappeared, and when I was trying to get the link, I'm like, okay, but I problem solved it out. I'm so happy to be here with you today, Greta.
Well, I'm happy to be with three of you because I do feel like a fairy tale story, of this enchanted girl with the three goddess mother, So
Uh-huh.
I would love to be your goddess mother. I would love that
I would
role.
too. I would just love to be a goddess.
Good.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Feel. Mm.
Well, I see Byron talking on here. So he's wanting to talk to all of us. He's watching. Byron watches everything that we do to make sure that we're doing it right. So
Yeah.
Greta, you are getting ready to publish a book.
Well, it's not exactly a book, but it's a chapter in a book. And this is one of the things that it was when I have done this time, that was my fourth BTS or fifth. I really don't remember. And I think it was a first or second time.
Are you talking about Jack Canfield's Breakthrough to Success?
Yeah.
You just finished the fifth one?
Either fourth or fifth. I really need to count because let's say that it was fourth. Yeah, just to be on the same side. But either was the first or second time when I was doing BTS with Jack, where I put, I would like to write a book. Or yeah, that was one of the things. And I did have announced that. And just when I said that, that was so not realistic. It was like, ballerina and writing does not sound together, dance. Okay, fine. But I was okay with that. Somehow, I don't know, out of nowhere, as magic oils they would do, yes, I was in. And I'm one of 21 participants. And the book is called The Greatest Vision. So today or tomorrow, I need to submit my chapter.
Who is consolidating the book?
I know her name is Jo. I'm not sure on pronunciation of her surname.
So did this come out of Jack's CEO, Patty's organization, or just?
I think that it's something to do link with that, but not as a first hand, because everything that I have linked, somebody knows it's all kind of interlinked and connected.
Yeah.
Either via oils or via teacher training, or
Yeah.
everything has some kind of link. So that's for sure.
Well, I think I did Breakthrough to Success this weekend, and I think it was my 10th time. Mm-hmm. And this time was pretty crazy because I have been doing mind maps. I've been teaching vision maps since I was about 20. And I learned them through some people that were studying from Disney and all the old people that used to use vision maps, and Science of Mind Church, which is religious science, which came out of Christian Science. They used to teach vision maps all the time, and somebody I knew was part of that, and so I started using it for companies that I worked for, and my employees, and then I started doing it all the time. So every year since I was like 20, on my birthday, and usually June or July, I do a new mind map, and I've had really amazing things happen from my mind map. I mean, magic, just magic. But this year, I did one that was so different. Do you guys want to see it?
Yes, please.
Over the weekend.
Yes, we'd love to see it. And then I hope to have you explain your chapter in your book, Greta.
Yeah, I started reading it. Byron sent it to us, and I started reading it. I didn't get a chance to finish it, so I can't wait to hear how you.
That looks cool.
Wow, that is cool.
So what I did this time is that I took all Jack's Wheel of Life, the spiritual, the financial, and all that stuff, and I put pictures in that, and it took forever, but just like you saying that when you put down you wanted to write a book, it seemed so far-fetched. I don't know why, but I decided I would do it in every single category I have. I would put at least 3 pictures.
I'm going to steal your idea. I'm doing the
What?
same. I'm going to steal your idea. I'm doing
That's
the
a
same.
really, that's an amazing idea. Remember, Trish, I told you when Shelby was here, we decided to paint our mind maps. We did a painting that we liked, and then we put our 3 objectives in each piece of the painting. So that was kind of fun. I love that, and I loved yours. It turned out beautiful.
Well, I just feel like we're all really powerful right now, and that a lot of old ways that Jack even did breakthrough to success, we don't have to repeat it. It's like, it's sort of like something has broken and now we're co-creating the future God always thought that the earth would have. And we're sort of like we did the stepping stones of whatever we've used in the past to get wherever we are, but we're sort of done. And I really didn't think it up. He was doing the wheel, and then we kind of transferred over to the vision. And I went, well, I want the best things in all those areas, you know?
Yeah.
And
it fits together. That is for sure.
yeah, I mean, it's one thing to just put a mind map of things that are on your mind that you want to manifest, and it's all over the place, and that's good too, because it worked for me, like writing books and things like that. But I just thought of each category of my life, and I've been working this last year on doing all 10s in all the wheel of life, you know, 10s and everything, and just living that way every morning. When I wake up, what are my 10s going to be? And did I accomplish them that night? Did I live in 10s every day, you know, all day? And pretty much I've been doing it. You know, I've got 9s in a couple of categories, but pretty much I've been dealing with 10s. So anyway, Greta, back to your chapter. What made you decide on the title of it?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first bit, I mean, I want to say thank you to Byron. He was he was definitely the person behind me, supporting me all the way with translating my Serbian English into English. So all the credits to that. Then I spent 45 days climbing very high on the wrong ladder. So we literally done 45 days. I submitted and it was like, right, not really. I would like something else. So the chapter that I will submit, it would be about something that she wants to hear, and this is ballet. Yeah, before that it was all kind of experience, and she said, Greta, this is all good, but this is a content for a book and you need to submit the chapter. So please, can you just focus on one bit? And that bit definitely is ballet. Okay, so from when I started, how dedicated I was, what was the odds in between, how many times somebody would give up, not go, not continue. And I did. And I really need to put into this Facebook as well. I mean, the achievement that it was in the end, it's that I actually studied in Royal Academy of Dance in London. So that's the one that it was prestige to be in, and to be in that school and to have that kind of reference point. So yeah, this is the chapter about being.
We're excited. What is the name of the total book? Do you know yet what the name of the book is?
Yep. Greatest Vision. Greatest
Visions. Okay.
And what's your chapter?
And my chapter is Ballerina.
Ballerina.
Oh,
Greta,
can you tell us about your professor of ballet yoga and Pilates?
Sure. So, despite the odds, I didn't like any of first of my two ballet teachers. Yeah, so they were all very mean and very non-friendly, and it was just absolute not joy, everything opposite of joy. But despite of all that, that didn't put me off. Then my third teacher was nice, kind, beautiful, wonderful woman, and that was, somebody who is patient enough. It's ripe rewards of it. So that was the longest teacher that I had, and all the gratefulness I could give to her for everything that I know about ballet. Yep. So that's her, definitely. And many others on that.
Well,
way.
is she who got you to teach?
No, she died.
When did you start teaching?
I started teaching, let's say 20 years ago, 20 something years ago.
Wow. Yeah. And when did you start teaching Pilates and yoga? And tell us the bridge between the two.
So when I was dancing in the theater, one of our, how do you call that? One of our routines, or one of our normal training day was yoga at the time in the theater. So we had yoga as a part of our class. So I was a student in that time, and we would have yoga. So yoga was, so I'm speaking now, 1998.
And so in order to do ballet, you had to do yoga to get ready for it?
No. I started ballet when I was really little. So that was like 3-4 years old. But when I was dancing in the theater, one of our, I don't know who actually came to idea that would benefit our body, and it was absolutely right. I actually think that is my dear friend as well, who is at the moment in Tokyo. Yeah, she came on that idea, and everybody was happy with that. So this is how I was introduced to yoga. And then it was like on, off, but always kind of part of my life. And I was in London. I was already teaching ballet, and it was some nice center where they said 10 days, 10 pounds, as many classes you want. I said, why not? Well, after these 10 days, that was it. That was it. I was completely hooked on. And this is when I finished my teacher training in London. And I started teaching ballet, yoga, and Pilates. Pilates was also one of the parts. So yeah, that's kind of like fingers on the hand, just different kind of thing.
Well, I'm sure everybody knows this, but Mr. Pilates had a yoga background, and he just wanted to isolate the different yoga asanas to really press your muscles. And Pilates is hard for me. I've done yoga all my life, but boy, Pilates kicks me. When I do it, it's like, wow.
Yeah, if you think that Pilates is hard, you need to try ballet.
Yeah.
I took ballet.
Deborah and I were just in Sundance together, and it's interesting that you're talking about vision and then ballet, and then the practice to be the best ballet performer ever, because vision comes first, and then no matter what you choose, whether it's physical like ballet or Pilates or yoga, but anything you choose as your vision, you have to practice it over and over. And people who become an overnight success aren't looking behind the scenes and seeing all of the practice and all of the knowledge and all of the things that go into the vision over the years. It just looks like an overnight success, or you make it look easy, but there's always so much, I'll call it work. Rehearsal is what Bo Eason calls it. There was this guy there named Garrett. He probably had his own way of describing it. And I think it just shows that with time and effort, your vision comes true. So thank you for sharing all of that with us, because I want people to know that it's a lot of work. It may have been fun, doesn't have to be difficult, but sometimes it is.
There is one of my coaches who said, there is nothing impossible. You just need to do 3,000 times repetition of one step, and then it will become like a natural. Just 3,000. I'm not sure if he said 3,000 or 30,000. It was something on 3. I forget how many zeros was behind. That was like, just repeat like so many times, and then that's it. So that's a quick recipe. Yeah. Right.
And that's often the boring part, right? Like, at least for me, I just want to move on to the next thing and the next thing, and that's very exciting, but you don't get as much done if you don't sit still and do the boring repetition. That's where mastery takes effect. And that's something that I learned through my own sports, but I've not always applied it to the next thing and the next thing. I'm getting better at applying it now. It's only taken me 57 years, but I just thought that I would share that with the audience, because everything you're saying and how successful you are comes from that sweet, boring repetition.
And the consistency of doing what it is that but even saying what Laura just said about how maybe that is, quote, seen as boring for some people, especially people that are visionaries and big thinkers, who wants to do the tedious stuff. However, my daughter's an actor, and she was talking about, somebody talked about this, and I shared it with her this past weekend, that when you're going, it was a movie star of some kind, but he said, when I'm going on auditions, that is the work. It isn't I'm doing something to get the work. My auditioning is part of my work. And it made it so much easier when I started thinking of it that way, because then it was like, yeah, I'm going to work today. It isn't, I'm not working and I'm going to find work. And it is kind of a good way when you're preparing, whether it's your body or your mind or your spirit. It's like, you know what, this is the work. And I think it's really a good way to look at it. It doesn't get so overwhelming or something, and it makes you feel like what I'm doing today, every day, is working towards my vision, which is something beyond our reach. A vision is something beyond our reach. And when we have that vision, we are just very high functioning human beings. And so I was going to ask you, Greta, about your environmental interests. And I know that you're an environmentalist. But how does your art, which is ballet, and spill over into your environmental interests?
I just have to add something that actually popped to my mind, just not to slip out, which I think Trish would be super interested about that. I cannot imagine where I would be if I had that vision board and Jack in my life when I was 20. So all my persistence and vision, without actually having a vision board, vision support, without having a Jack tools. I mean, everything was, how I actually feel about all this pioneer. It's like when people who they were doing a land with the hands and they didn't have any kind of tools. I mean, still they grow something, but it was like without any tools, So it's literally, I self-invent myself on my own. I mean, yes, teacher here and there, of course, but zero of the things that I'm hearing now and last 10, 15 years or 20, how many? I mean, that's...
Well, I mean, the truth is you were picked. Your contract was, to come down here and be an angel on the planet.
Yes.
And I think many of us, whether we were put on ice for a while because it wasn't the time, or whether we had certain things that we had to do on the planet because the planet needed it at that time. You know, I was telling somebody this morning, I spent years fighting in court on a federal level. I mean, big court. And I used to shake my head like, what in the world am I doing this for? And because my word now, my main word for the next 6 months is flow, I think, well, why did I have to fight so much, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? And I think that the world just needed us to be a certain way at that time because the world was more like that. And some of us were picked to do things maybe the hard way or something because that was the journey. And what you were saying, that just like Deborah, you saying that doing the work each day, it's kind of like getting ready for the vacation is really, if you think about it, as exciting as the vacation. If you look at each minute as part of what is unveiling itself to you. And so I couldn't have had the word flow 20 years ago. It wasn't for me to do. I don't, even if I'd had all kinds of training, I don't think that the world was going to envelop or embrace me being in flow all the time. And now I feel like that's part of my work, is just to show the flow each day, to just go with what's going on. So yeah, it's an amazing time, and I know you're in the right place, the right time, at the right time. And so it's getting unveiled to us each day as to what the heck all this means. I really am starting to get more and more and more clear on what's going on with my life and the world's life and things. I'm getting really clear about it, but it's not all right there. But it's really fun now. I mean, Gail, my life is so much better than it was a few years ago. It's not even describable.
Yeah.
I just by accident, dare I say, push all the oils that are next to me. I hope I didn't break any. Yeah, that's another thing that I would like actually to mention, oils and how incredible they work, really. But before that, I really want to answer to Dr. Deborah what you asked me. I would start with the small things, as Jack said, how important there are small steps, as small as when I'm eating fruits, not to put a seed into the rubbish, but just to put into the ground anywhere. That is awareness that has to be on that kind of level. Yeah. Small things. I mean, yes, I cannot save the planet from all the major things that are going on. I mean, that has to be for the nation to deal with. I mean, I can do my small part. I mean, it's heartbreaking when you see the country like Albania, so gorgeous. I mean, I never saw the mountain range so beautiful, and I have seen the world a lot, but this is absolutely magic. And then you see all the magic in plastic bottles. I'm like, only 20 years ago or 30 years ago, we didn't have that. We was all drinking from the hand, yeah, and everybody was okay. Nobody was thirsty. Why every second we have to have a bottle of water, bottle of Coke, bottle of anything? I mean, any kind of plastic bottle. We had a glass bottle. And you put back, you give back, and you take a new one, and everything was okay. Yeah, so it's so unresponsible that it's hard for me even to speak about that. Seriously, it's like hard for me to speak because it's how many tons every day? There are islands and islands in this beautiful sea full of plastic. It's ridiculous. I mean,
In the Mediterranean or all over the world?
all over the world, Mediterranean, Maldives.
I
they
know.
say that the next to Maldives, it's exactly the same big island of plastic.
I know.
It's
Wow.
wow. Yeah, same size. And it's growing. Because, of course, how currency is moving, it's not plastic from Maldives there. No, they're from, I don't know, from all over the world, yeah?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
somehow they spin and they stuck somewhere.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
stuck, I mean, this is just one thing, and that's plastic in the ocean. What about the corals, which, and so on, yeah? Because mainly people, they do speak about rainforest and green lungs, but what about the blue lungs, which they're giving?
No, the coral is the #1 producer of oxygen in the world. And I think right now, 75% of our coral is dead. It's really frightening. I mean, they talk about a million different things, but I'm not worried because I'm praying every day and I'm connected to people that are really doing some significant things about it. But yeah, I'm glad you're bringing it up, and we are going to talk a lot about this on November 8th because Melanie Walton is going to be the MC, and her group is doing almost the most for the environment, I think. And coral is a big deal to her, and so is plastic cleanup. And thank goodness there are a lot of people that are really noticing these things and wanting to get involved too. You know, surfers, all kinds of people are getting involved to care, and be responsible. Like Jack says, look at what is around you and take 100% responsibility.
I mean, what I do as my responsibility, it's really, I'm planting the seeds. And I'm thinking, okay, if one seed can be one tree, I'm happy. Yeah, so that's my small deed.
I
Yeah.
love that idea. I'm going to start doing that instead of throwing away my apple seeds or my kiwi seeds or whatever.
No seeds anywhere else except the ground. I mean, soil. If anything, what Sadhguru says, save the soil, and that's the thing. Yeah, that's
Yes, it's like your Greta Appleseed.
Oh.
Yeah. One of my friends who is a permaculture expert, she said that every office you have, every home you have should have a little thing of mulch next to the sink. And that if everybody just did a little mulch every day, you know, coffee grounds or any kind of scraps, and they just went and dug a little hole into any dirt outside their office or whatever, it would be enough to replenish the earth.
Yeah.
Hey Trish, I don't mean to correct you, but I think it's not mulch, it's compost. Right? Is that what you're talking about? Is composting?
Yep.
Yeah. We did that even here in Arlington. We had a little compost thing, and it's cool because it starts to smoke. Well, not smoke, but steam. I guess it's steam. It's really cool.
Yeah. And we had there were several of us that got together to try to entice businesses to do this in their little little coffee stations. And Starbucks is pretty good about it. Starbucks always gives all of their grounds to people who want to use it for gardens. And when I had all my schools, and we had gardens in all the schools, and then the kids were encouraged to teach their parents how to do a little garden outside of their house. And we gave everybody a little recipe and coffee grounds and things to get them started. But it's so easy, and it's kind of a fun hobby, and it's so simple for corporations to do little things like that to get people just to hook in, because people right now are so whacked out, anxiety ridden, that they don't think about seeds, and they don't think about creating compost or mulch, and they don't think about that they could do it. But while you're drinking your coffee in an office, you can take pieces of paper, pieces of newspaper, pieces of, some coffee, and you can start a composting pile right in the office. And it's wonderful for little children to be taught that in their family, because little kids love it. They love to see the worms come in there and, play with them. And yeah, thank you for bringing this up. It reminds me of so much stuff we did and the kids just loved it.
But this is like a double healing. I mean, firstly, it's triple healing. It's not even double. It's only benefit on so many levels. I mean, firstly, you heal the ground, then you do something good. Then you connect yourself with the nature as a part of the planet, because we are not separated. Yeah, although everything is working towards separation. I mean, nowadays you go to a supermarket and it's so distant from the origin. That's why nobody knows, how cow look like, or is it egg from the chicken? I mean, they only know how hamburger look like. I mean, how many actually kids they have a contact with origin of the food that they have. They think that everything is growing into the plastic containers. I mean, that's really surprising how many people, not kids, they don't know peanuts. Is it underground or overground? Kiwi, is it underground or overground? I mean, simple stuff as a fruits, vegetables, they don't know, because how they would know? Because they only buy in a plastic buckets, yeah? Drinking coffee.
Yeah.
I guarantee that people, they don't know how coffee come into the things that they drink. No.
I just say thank God for coffee, though. I do love it.
I love coffee. I love coffee. Yeah, this is one of my, I mean, whenever we are speaking, I mean, to me, high priority happiness and list is a coffee, and I drink Turkish coffee. So the proper way of brewing and drinking, and there is something that's that is so pristine to me.
So Greta, can you tell us a little bit about your you talked about self-development and learning about some of these ways to manifest and these ways to envision, but can you tell us a little bit about your spirituality and your how you see the spiritual part of the world?
Wow. Well, that was in the first chapter that I didn't put forward. It's there is one thing about me that I had a clinical death when I was 7 years old, and in that time I was thinking that everybody was having that experience and that it's nothing special. And then I understood that actually not everybody has that, and not everybody understands that. So from very early age, I actually had a contact with spirituality in per se, thing that people, they're curious about, or they're doubting about, or they don't know about. I don't have such doubts, because for me it's very clear. And sometimes that could get really across wrongly if I use not soft spoken words about that, if I just say, I know that. So I needed to learn how to curve, to say possible rather than I know, because when I say I do know, I know because I do know. If that make any sense, right? Without being, how do you say that? Without being egocentric.
Right.
Right. So that's my first contact with spirituality. And then the second one was that nothing actually interests me so much from this materialistic world. To me, it was always, I know that this is only the vehicle, and it's beautiful vehicle, it's amazing vehicle. I love that vehicle. I mean, I forgot by sake, I'm a ballerina, so I needed to have a body, but it's not about the vehicle. It's about what is in the vehicle. And to me, was always about the feeling, not about the shape and form. Shape and form, it's just end result, not we are doing because of that. Yeah, it's yeah. So to me, spirituality, it's like shell with a pearl, and if there is a not pearl inside, what's the point of the shell? So yeah, that's yeah.
Greta, how do you had a near-death experience at 7, so and you gently tell people that just to lead them. It's like Deborah says, if you're the only Bible anybody ever reads, how do you show up? But how do you think people have become so disconnected from their sense of spirituality? I think we all had our road there as well. Mine was not near-death experience, but how do you think people get so disconnected and so adamant that there's nothing out there? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. It's easier to live. It's easier to live with kind of idea, I don't know, or I didn't know, and that not knowing can give you a big spectrum of making any kind of mistakes or any kind of ignorant behavior. Then I did know, and I'm responsible for my thinking, doing, and saying.
Wow, I never even thought of that. Yes, I can totally see that. Thank you.
Well, Laura has a question for you that's going to lead into this. And, my question would be, and Laura has another question, but do you feel it as vibration, as in your chakras? Do you feel it just by being out in nature? That's kind of where my God is, is nature. It just shows itself every day, how wonderful everything is. And I just wondered how you feel it.
Mm-hmm. I hear.
Okay. Clairaudient.
Not necessarily all the time, and it's not 24 hours, but there is a moment when I know that it's not my thinking, and I know that it's not my hearing, it's just coming. Somebody would call that a channeling. I think Trish would call channeling that. So I never learned how to do that, but that would be just like if I'm standing next to somebody and I can just start to speak what that person is thinking. It's not that I really want to do that, but it's kind of like, okay. So therefore, I really don't like to be with so many people because I start to be super confused with all this. It's I hear, and I don't know, like who is me thinking and who is them thinking, and it's like wow, okay. So sometimes it's that. Most of the time it's I feel with my skin. So it's literally like I feel with my, I mean, it's a very similar feeling how when was somewhere else, it's here. So it's in that kind of sense, it's very hard to explain. You don't have that kind of things like it's an instant understanding of the question. So if you have a question, you have an answer, same second, it's happening simultaneously without even, I mean, the easiest way actually to say, it's like when you go into the dark room, you go and you press the light. And the second, when you're pressing light, you're not thinking, okay, how long it will take light to come, how light would come, would that, da, 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 da. Yeah, so you just do that and there is a light, yeah? So I think that's the easiest one to explain that, okay, you have a question and that's the answer. And it's going in that fast, that simple as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trish, or I mean, Laura, your question.
Well,
Wrong.
yeah, I know we're getting, gosh, this has gone so quickly. And yeah, my question, Greta, now that we know you've had a near-death experience, is in the same realm. Have you seen a ghost? It sounds like you hear, you're clairaudient, you know things, but have you seen a ghost, fairy, or UFO? Have you had any experiences with angels or any of that? Do you have a story you'd like to share with us?
I don't, to me, it's not that kind of, I think that I'm constantly in between few worlds, you know, so I cannot tell you, okay, this is that and this is that. It's merging in between.
Well, there's a movie right now that's really popular called Everything, Anywhere, or something like that. And I've watched it once. It's on Prime. And everywhere, I'm going to look it up right now because it is exactly what you're saying right now. It's everywhere, anywhere, all at once, I think. It is the freakiest movie, but it's very well done. And it's got some really major actors in it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Sound about right.
Yeah, and it's in the theaters right now, but it's also on Prime. And I'm gonna have to watch it like 2 or 3 times. It's exactly what you're talking about. And I think that we're experiencing that. In the last few days, I've noticed that it doesn't seem like I had space between major things going on. It was like it happened at the same time. And I was just catching myself going, wonder why I feel this way, you know?
Like time collapsed, sort of, and
Yeah.
just all at once. And well, you know what? I'm so anxious to see that movie. I'm going to watch it tonight because I'm trying to move into that space a little bit, Greta, where I do, I'm open. Like, you know, Debbie Straley told us, I just say angels up every day. Thank you for helping me. And let me see the unseen. Let me, experience the unexpected, that type of thing, being open to it. And I like, though, you thinking of it that, and I know that Trish and Melanie talk about different veils that there are and different dimensions. And if we think we're just living in a one-dimensional world, you're fooling yourself, because I want to experience those dimensions, and I do sometimes, but I'm ready to experience them more frequently. So that's very interesting that you said that.
Well, that then makes me question, Greta, because you were talking about the oils earlier. How do you use the oils to get you? It seems like you have these levels all the time, but I'm sure you use the oils to help you with this as well. Can you share that with us?
Yes. I mean, I really, how do you call this in English? I don't want to jingle or jinxle or whatever.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Or jingle. You can jingle too.
I like jingle.
I like jinxle.
But this is what I meant. What it is, firstly, that I want to say is that I had a friend who came to visit me, and then she was not in very good state, but she trusts me, and I say, listen, there is something nice. Okay, so I put her in front of me, and we was doing oils, and I do very intuitively. And I think my new thing for yoga and for Pilates and Ballet would be intuitive yoga. When somebody asks me, which kind of yoga do you teach, blah, 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 that I usually don't know, like, oh my God, which one do you actually want? I think now I have a name. Intuitive yoga.
I'm going to borrow that for today. I teach in a half an hour. I'm going to
Yes.
borrow that intuitive yoga because we're only combination.
Our last guest was an intuitive artist, and
Yeah.
she does her art through intuition. So I like that, Greta.
Yeah, I do too.
So I don't know. A friend came in front of me. I said, okay, listen, we are using oils, blah, blah, blah. So she was doing her stuff. And I said, I want a big present. I don't know what it is. I just want a big present. Day after, dear Greta, letter from Jack. Would you like to be our guest for BTS? Voila.
Nice.
And I was like, thank you. Okay, so this is how oils work for me. I know that was oil. I know. I mean, this is only one of them because it was the latest thing. But that was really from the heart. I mean, I know that it just came because I was ready to receive something beautiful as that, so that came and just enhance the stuff. This is how oils they do.
It's plants talking to us. I have read over and over and over in every religious text that plants are here to teach us. And
when you guys were talking about intuition and intuitiveness and stuff, Garrett Gunderson, that was a speaker at Sunday. Intuition is a feather to your face. So when you feel that feather across your face, that's your intuition. Go with it, type of thing. I thought that was such a beautiful visual, visualization. And so I just love that.
And with that, you can wrap us up.
Yeah.
So usually Greta, go ahead. You can ask.
No, I was going to say Laura has a question.
I feel like I'm just full of questions. Here I sit in the sun.
We need to be done, you guys, because I have to go teach a class in a half an hour.
Okay, well, Greta, could you just say goodbye to everyone and perhaps give them your best piece of advice you either ever got or that you can give? Because our audience would love to hear that.
Use the oil. I love it.
Oh, oil, and please do come on the 8th of November, and let's hug all together. That's it.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
All right. Well, I love you, Greta. Thank you for doing this. What time is it there?
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Okay. Well, thank you for doing this, and
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We love you, Greta. We'll see you soon.
So great to talk to you.
Bye.
Bye, you too.
Thank you for. Bye.